Hi everybody, I'm doing a re-upload of my summary of Friends season 1 and 2 episodes because when I was watching the video back that I made this morning, I realized that my face was cut off for half the video. So I wanted to make sure my camera is at a better angle so that way my whole face is in the picture. So I was going to review my rankings of season 1 again like I did before. So, for season 1, episodes 13 to 24, our rankings are as follows. A-, the one with the birth. B, the one with the candy hearts, the one with 2 parts, part 1, and the one with the fake Monica. B+, the one with all the poker, the one where the monkey gets away, and the one where Rachel finds out. B-, the one with the evil orthodontist and the one with the ick factor. The C-ranked episodes are the one with the boobies, the one with the stone guy, and the one with 2 parts, part 2. My favorite episode from episodes 13 to 24 of season 1 of Friends is probably the one with the birth, followed by the one with the candy hearts. Now, I think Janice, the girl, the lady who has a crush on Chandler throughout like pretty much the whole show, I think she's actually a really funny character. Her laugh can be a little bit annoying, kind of like you know what character Janice's laugh reminds me of from a musical is Gertie Cummings from Oklahoma, the really annoying girl who has a crush on Curly, the lead guy. So, yeah, but I mean, I think Maggie Wheeler is great as Janice, and she is really funny. Another character that I think is really underrated in Friends is actually Monica and Ross's father, who is played by Elliot Gould. In one of the earlier season 1 episodes that I saw, when the grandmother passes away, he has a really funny conversation with Monica about how he wants to be buried at sea because he wants to do something that's like not like out of the ordinary instead of just having a normal funeral. So I thought that was a really interesting conversation, and I think it's really sweet how he calls Monica his little harmonica, and I wish their relationship had been explored a little bit more throughout the whole entire series, because you see how of a strained relationship she has with the mother, but you don't really see what kind of relationship she has with the dad. And I wish they had explored that more, or maybe explored Ross's relationship with his dad too, because I hated Monica and Ross's mom. I just couldn't stand how mean she was to Monica throughout the whole series, and how the reason why she was so mean was never explained. Although there is a hint that like there was some generational trauma in there, because at the funeral for the grandmother, the mother says to Monica how like her mother was really judgmental of her. So you can kind of see how that carries down. So I would imagine that if the series had continued and there had been a spin-off series about Monica and Chandler's family, that Monica would have broken the generational trauma trend and been Monica is a really nice character, and I would picture her being really loving and caring towards her children, and not like her mother at all in terms of being passive-aggressive or mean or cruel or I just felt really bad for Monica, because there was a scene from another episode that I saw a clip from the other day where like Rachel says that Monica and Ross's mom said like she's the daughter she never had, and Monica is like really shocked by that, and like I really felt bad for Monica in that scene, because obviously there's something going on there that's not being explained. And like the fan fiction that I wrote based on the fan theory that Monica is not Jack Geller's daughter, which I don't think is true, by the way, it kind of delves into that a little bit. And I wrote a new chapter for that fan fiction yesterday, but I decided not to share it today. And the reason why I decided not to share it is because I have been realizing that my videos with my fan fiction chapters have not been really getting any feedback. And I really feel like I'm forcing people to listen to me share my writing when they might not want to listen to it. So if anybody wants to read my fan fiction chapter that I wrote, I would be happy to email it to you privately, but I don't think I'm going to be sharing any more fan fiction chapters here on Instagram and YouTube because I just decided that there would be better options, and I don't even really know how much longer I will be reviewing episodes for Friends either, because after May 12th, I'm going to be taking a break from social media for a while just because I need to step away for a bit. So, back to the episode reviews. Oops. I got a little bit off topic. So I think the episode I liked the least in this group being of episodes 13 to 24 of Friends was the one when a monkey gets away, because even in the behind the scenes commentary, and I think maybe it was mentioned on the reunion special too, and clips that I saw from that, the actors in Friends said that they did not like working with the monkey and that it was really difficult to work with it because it wasn't cooperative, and I can only imagine what that must have been like for them, because I mean, sure, the monkey's cute, but to be honest, no offense, but I think they could have probably done without the episodes with the monkey entirely, because I just didn't really see how that fit into the whole dynamic of the show at all. It didn't really make sense to me and made me confused. Another episode in this listing of episodes that I didn't really like was the one with the ick factor. I ranked this a B- because I feel like, so this is an episode where Monica is dating a high school kid who she thinks is in college, and this episode was just weird because the age dynamic between Monica and her boyfriend Ethan was a little bit uncomfortable to watch, and because Monica is in her late 20s and Ethan is 17 or 18, and it was just awkward. And that is one of the more awkward relationship pairings in Friends, as I have mentioned in my past video. And I'm sure I will get to the other relationship dynamics in other episodes once we get to them. Jeez, this keeps shutting off on me. I'm sorry. Oh, 8/26/85. Okay. So for season 2, episodes 6 to 13, the rankings are the one after the Super Bowl and the one with the part 1 and part 2. And what we liked the best about this episode was this 2-part episode was definitely the guest star appearances by Julia Roberts and Brooke Shields. Brooke Shields was in the first part of the episode where she plays the obsessive fan of Joey's soap opera character, Dr. Amore, and she actually thinks that Joey is Dr. Amore. And I love the scene close to the end of the episode when Joey basically tells Erica, who is the character by Brooke Shields, played by Brooke Shields, that he's not Drake Ramore, he's actually just an actor who plays Drake Ramore. And Rachel and Monica throw water in his face and say all this stuff. I forget what the exact lines were. I don't remember. But Chandler's line is the best in the scene. It's like, it's the line that made me laugh the hardest just because Matthew Perry's delivery of this line is just so good. And he's like, you left the toilet seat up, you bastard. And then he threw water in his face. And Matt LeBlanc's face, and that just made me laugh so hard. I mean, Chandler, he just makes every scene in every episode better. And I laugh all of the time at his lines. And one of Joey's funniest moments is in an episode in season 3, which I'm going to be watching soon, which is like from the one where no one's ready. The one where he's wearing all of Chandler's clothes. I can't wait for that episode. I'm so excited to watch it again. And then the other A- ranked episode was the one with the lesbian wedding where Carol and Susan get married. And I mean, I think that this episode was very progressive for this time period when it aired. Season 2 of Friends was in 1995, and I was 10 years old. And back then, there wasn't really a lot. Gay marriage wasn't really as mainstream as it is these days. And this episode actually didn't get a lot of... The video that I watched about parts of Friends that did not age well, that Miss Mojo did, they said that this episode of Friends didn't get a lot on the blowback radar. It was only banned in 2 states, which is actually pretty good. I think it was like Ohio and Kansas or something. I think those were the 2 states that this episode of Friends was banned in. And like, when you go back and think about what could have been done differently in this episode, I'm not really sure what could have been done differently if this episode were to be done today. I mean, no episode of a TV show is completely perfect, and there were some situations in Friends that were not handled so well, like in later seasons, the whole situation with Chandler's dad being gay / transgender, or like, for example, another thing that I don't think aged particularly well was in the one with the prom video with all the fat shaming of Monica when she was younger. Like, I just felt really bad for Monica in that episode, and I've never been in a situation where I've been fat shamed myself, but like, I have my own issues myself right now with body image and losing weight. So, I mean, I can't really relate to Monica in that particular episode, but I mean, I think everybody goes through self-image issues at some points in their life. And I mean, when this episode came out, I was 10, so I didn't really have body issues when I was 10 because I was 10. So, oh, again with this? Come on. Okay, for episodes 6 to 13 of Friends, the B+ rated episodes were the one where Ross finds out and the one with the baby on the bus. The one with the baby on the bus was really funny. This is the one when Ross has the allergic reaction to the pudding that Monica makes, so he has to go to the hospital. And Chandler and Joey are watching baby Ben, and they leave him on a city bus by accident, and there's this whole thing where they have to they have to go to the human services place to pick up the baby or something, and they can't remember which baby is Ben, so they have to like flip a coin to figure out which baby is Ben. And Joe is like heads is ducks and tails is clouds, because ducks have heads. And Chandler says, what kind of scary ass clowns came to your birthday? And I was like, I can't stop laughing right now. Between Matt LeBlanc and Matthew Perry, the delivery of both of those lines was just so funny. So the B- ranked episode in episode 6 to 13 of season 2 is the one with Phoebe's dad. And this is when Phoebe goes to her birth mother's house, or her birth father's house, to meet him, but she chickens out because she gets nervous. And I mean, I thought that episode was sweet, and I loved how, like, her grandmother encourages her to find her father. And I like their relationship. Like, Phoebe is really an interesting character in Friends because she spends the next couple of seasons kind of finding out who her family is, because in a later episode of this season, she meets her brother. His name is Frank Jr. Well, her half-brother, I guess. Brother, half-brother. And he's the one who's married to his home ec teacher, Alice, which that's another real relationship dynamic I thought was weird. Frank's wife, Alice, Frank Jr.'s wife, Alice, she is played by Deborah Jo Rupp, who played Kitty on that 70s show. And, like, that relationship never sat right with me because Frank Jr. was, like, 16 or 17 or something, I think. And Alice, his teacher, was, like, 35 years older than him or something. And I mean, this is even called out in a later season by Joey. He even tells Frank Jr. that the age difference between him and Alice is really weird. And, like, yeah, yeah. And C-ranked episodes for season 2, episodes 6 to 13 is the one with list, the one with the list, and the one with Russ. The one with the list is the one where Ross makes the pros and cons list about dating Rachel and Julie. And I hate Ross in this episode. He is such a jerk to Rachel, and I wanted to A, cry, and B, reach through the TV and punch Ross in the face when Rachel is telling Ross how much her feelings were hurt by the list. And I mean, the acting in that scene between Jennifer Aniston and David Schwimmer was, like, friggin' fantastic. I mean, they were not, as I've mentioned before, Chandler and Monica are my favorite couple in Friends, and they had a lot of really good scenes together too, but I think this was the most emotional scene besides the one in season 3 when they have their breakup, which is coming up next season. So, and then the one with Russ is the one where Rachel is dating this guy who looks like Ross. And, like, I was so confused by this episode. It was so confusing because I just thought that the actor who was playing the body double of Ross looked too much like David Schwimmer. So I was so confused during all of those scenes that they were in together. I know it was a different actor who played Russ, but it was just confusing because he looked too much like David Schwimmer to me, and I was like, no. So I think that's another plot line they could have done without because it was just complicated. Other episodes in Friends I don't really care for that are in later seasons are the one with the rumor, despite the fact that that episode started my celebrity crush on Brad Pitt. That's the Thanksgiving episode where, like, Brad Pitt comes to Thanksgiving dinner and he says that him and Ross started a club in high school, I Hate Rachel Green Club, because they both hated Rachel. And they started a really mean rumor about her that she was, like, I don't remember what the rumor was, but that episode is until a later season 8, season 9. And then the other episode I hate that they could have really done without, like, the one when Chandler is in Oklahoma for his job, and Monica comes to visit him, and, like, she catches him making out, like, watching a shark documentary, because he switched the channel, because, like, he was originally watching porn, and, like, I don't understand how a plot line like that about shark intimacy would even get past the censors on the TV station. Like, I think they could have really done without that plot line, and I just have a hard time taking it seriously at all. And then the last episode I like the least from a later season is the one with the male nanny. Ross, he is at his worst in this episode because he is so homophobic toward the guy they're trying to hire to be the nanny. And he goes on and on about how his father was judgmental of him for being too sensitive when he was a kid. But that never made sense to me because it's shown in a flashback that he, like, dressed up in dresses and played or whatever. So, like, I don't understand. I hate that episode, and I think Ross is at his worst in that entire episode. But back to the current season that we're watching. Don't want to get too far ahead of myself in talking about talking about episodes I haven't even watched yet. All right, so episodes ranking for season 2, episodes 14 to 24. The one with the prom video, I just talked about that one. And the one with the two parties. The one with the two parties is the first episode we're watching tomorrow night. And I remember watching this episode when it first aired, so that's why I figured I would talk about it now, even though we're watching it tomorrow. So this is the episode where it's Rachel's 30th birthday, and she wants both of her parents are invited to the party, but they have to have two separate parties, one at Chandler and Joey's and one at Monica and Rachel's, because they want to keep Rachel's parents separated because they just got a divorce. So I love the comedy in this episode and how they try really, really hard to keep Rachel's parents separate from each other. So that's why I can't wait to watch this episode again, because I know I'm going to laugh really hard when I watch it. For the B+ episodes, there's just one. And it's the one where Dr. Ramore dies when Joey loses his job on Days of Our Lives because he says in a article in the magazine, the Soap Opera Digest, that he, like, writes a lot of his own lines and he gets in trouble, so he has to find another acting job, and, like, I mean, I liked this episode. I thought there were funny parts to it, but I felt bad for Joey that he had trouble finding work after the Days of Our Lives job, because I think that's his best role in the whole entire show. Another good acting role that I really liked that he had was the one when he did the soup commercial. That one was also really funny. For the B- episodes, we have the one where Ross and Rachel, which is the one where Ross and Rachel have their date in the planetarium, and that's the joke. That's the episode that the juice box joke is in. Now, this episode, it first aired, as I said, season 2 was when I was 10. So, of course, during that time, all of these jokes with sexual connotations to them went over my head. Like, even, like, for example, like a similar joke that's like this, that's in a movie, is in like Toy Story 2, or not Toy Story 2, it's Toy Story 1, when, you know all the toys in Sid's room, and you know how, like, they have the crane with the legs. Like, the joke behind that is that it's supposed to be a hooker, and when I was young, that joke went over my head because I didn't really know what a hooker was, but obviously I understand that joke better now as an adult. In my 30s, I will not say how old I am here for safety reasons, but I will just say that I am in my 30s. Not saying my exact age. And the C-ranked episodes are the one where Eddie moves in, when Chandler gets his new roommate, Eddie. The one where Eddie moves out, where Chandler gets rid of his roommate, Eddie, because Eddie is creepy and watches him sleep. Kind of like in SpongeBob SquarePants, where Patrick and SpongeBob are always watching Squidward sleep at 3:30 in the morning. And then the one with the bullies, which is the one where, like, Chandler and Ross are dealing with the bullies in the coffee shop. And, like, I think this is another plot line I could have probably done without. I didn't find it funny at all. I wasn't laughing. I did not laugh once during that whole entire episode. So, yeah, that's another plot line I could have done without. And so now I'm going to go through my overall thoughts of Season 1 and Season 2. For favorite episodes, my favorite episodes in Season 1 were the one with George Stephanopoulos, which is, again, one of the most relatable episodes of Season 1. This is episode 4, and this is the episode that focuses on the friendship dynamic between Joey, Chandler, and Ross when they go to the hockey game, and Rachel, Monica, and Phoebe when they have their sleepover. And when they have their sleepover, Rachel is really stressing out because, like, she's thinking about her future and how, like, she's having a rough adjustment to life in the city because she went from being rich to now having a job at a coffee shop. And in this episode, she gets her first paycheck from Central Perk, and she gets disappointed with how much money gets taken out of her account. Not her account, her paycheck, because of taxes or something like that. And she and Phoebe and Monica are having a conversation about their life plan, and Monica says to Phoebe, "Phoebe, do you have a plan?" And Phoebe says, "I don't even have a pla," which indicates she doesn't even have half a plan. And the reason why this dialogue exchange between Rachel and Monica and Phoebe is so relatable to me is because, like, I'm at a time in my life where I'm always reanalyzing my life plan and I'm not really sure where it's gonna go. Like, I'm excited about my job at Vertical Harvest, and I'm excited about the new adventure I'm gonna be on and what direction that could lead me in. But, I mean, I'm not gonna say where I live, again, because of security. But I just recently moved from one state to the other because of a new job that I just mentioned. And, like, that was a big change for me. And I mean, it's hard to talk about future plans on YouTube because of safety issues and stuff, because I have been dealing with a lot of hackers on the internet, especially on Instagram and Facebook. So that's why I don't want to get too personal on these videos anymore, because it's too risky for me to do that. So anyway, the next the least favorite episodes from season 1 are the one with the East German laundry detergent and the one with the stoned guy. For the one with the East German laundry detergent, this is the one where Rachel and Ross are doing their laundry. And Ross is showing Rachel how to do her laundry for the first time because obviously she just moved to the city and she's not used to doing her laundry by herself. But like, I don't know. I just found this episode to be dull and kind of boring, and I didn't find it funny. So, I mean, it's a nice starting off point, I guess, for what Rachel and Ross's relationship could be like, but I just thought it was a boring episode. Thank God this is almost done because I'm getting sick of getting logged out of this iPad. All right, my other least favorite episode of season 1, is the one with the stone guy. This is the one where Monica plans a dinner for a guy who's gonna hire her, and he comes to the appointment stoned. And I had a hard time enjoying this episode. I just couldn't find a lot of humor in it at all, and that's why we gave it a C. For season 2, my favorite episode, as I was saying before, was the one with the Super Bowl, the 2-part special. The reason why we liked this special so much, this episode so much, was, as I said, because of the guest star appearances by Julia Roberts and Brooke Shields, and the whole, and what makes this episode so relatable is the part where Rachel and Monica are talking about confessing their crush to Jean-Claude Van Damme, and Monica is really nervous about doing that, and, the reason why that's so relatable to me, so, as I was mentioning before, this episode came out in 1995 when I was 10. As I grew older and the seasons of Friends progressed, let's see. So, season 2, I was 10. By season 4 or season 5, I was getting into middle school. And that was when I was, 12, 13, 14. And at that time, I related to Monica's character the most because, of course, I was just learning how to be comfortable around talking to guys, and I was always nervous. Of course, in this show, Monica is in her 20s, but I was always shy about asking guys out from age 14 to age 20, from middle school to the beginning of college, because I didn't start dating until college. I started dating really, really late, because of maturity levels and all that, and also because I was shy about asking a guy out. And the one guy I did ask out, no names are mentioned. I like to block that whole situation out from the back of my mind. But I would like to just say, I don't think the actors from Friends are ever going to watch my videos, but if Courtney Cox happens to, I wanted to let her know that I wanted to thank her for that realistic portrayal of how somebody has relationship anxiety. And I related to her character so much even after Friends was over. So I would like to thank her for that realistic portrayal of relationship anxiety. But I think all of the characters in Friends at different points in the show had their issues with relationship anxiety. But Monica's stood out to me the most. The other relatable episode that I've mentioned before from season 2 was episode 5. The one with 5 steaks in the eggplant. And this is the most relatable episode in the whole entire series, I think. We gave it a B+, but actually, if I could change it a little, I think I would give it an A-. What makes this episode so relatable is because as adults, we have trouble, like, I know when I plan activities with my friends, we run into issues all the time with being able to include everybody in activities because of financial issues and the fact that people may not have money to do certain activities. And in this episode, they go out for dinner for Monica's job promotion, and they also take Ross to a concert for his birthday, and it's expensive. And I think the most realistic character portrayals in this episode were by Rachel, Joey, and Phoebe, and I was able to connect the most to their characters, because I have felt this way a lot too, and I'm sure my friends from New Hampshire can also attest to this, if they happen to be watching this, that when we plan activities for our friend group, we have trouble being able to be sure that everybody can be included because everybody has tight budgets. And sometimes even Matt and I can't come to everything that is planned because of that reason. So that is what makes this episode a standout episode of season 2. And I thank you to all of the actors in the ensemble cast of Friends for such realistic portrayals of that kind of situation. I really appreciate how relatable this episode is to me, so thank you for that. And I think that's it. Let me just make sure. Yes, I think we're done. So yes, that is my wrap up of season 1 and season 2 of Friends. We have 4 more episodes left to watch, but I just figured I would hop on here and talk about it tonight because I couldn't wait until tomorrow to talk about it, because I just had so many good things to say about these episodes and how I could relate to them and these characters. So, I mean, I doubt the actors from Friends are going to be watching my videos, but if they do, thank you so much for this great show. It's so much fun to watch it again and look back and reflect on all of these episodes, and thank you guys for creating such great characters. I mean, as I have said before, my favorite characters in Friends are probably Chandler, Phoebe, and Monica. And then my most relatable characters are Phoebe and Monica. And I think I can end this video here. So thank you for tuning in, and good night.